Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Part Out Podcast. This is episode 3, titled
Renaissance.
The Renaissance, the Bricklink Renaissance. Episode 3, titled by Chris James, who loved my word choice in the first episode. So today, our guest and the pretty much entire content of the episode is our interview with Chris from the Great Brick Lab. We had a lot of fun talking to him, and I think we both learned a lot.
I for sure learned a lot. I mean, I learn a lot
Yes.
every time we do one of these, but yeah.
Yes, and I think you folks viewing at home will as well. Um, as always, before we get started, we have some weekly winners.
Welcome to Weekly Winners. We are your hosts, Nikki Zeljo and David West. David, would you like to start us off with your winner?
I wouldn't. I want you to go first because mine is better.
All right. That's what you think. But then when you look at the sell through,
It's true.
yeah. So my winner of the week is part 43093 in black, the Technic Axle 1L with pin with friction ridges. It came in a bunch of Bionicle sets, and I guess you were saying 2004. Um,
I'm not. Don't quote me on the
I don't
year.
know what year the
2002
Bionicle
as
sets.
well. It
Okay,
came out. It came in 27 sets.
27 sets. It sells for $2.64 on average, and it has a good sell through. And you find these a lot. I just parted out a bunch of Bionicle sets. Um, I just got I had like a used lot, and I found a ton of these, and they surprised me at how expensive they were. They're like
Yeah.
most of the part out value of those sets.
And the nice part is where you find one, you find many because, like you said, there's usually I find the kids in '02 who are buying Bionicle had several and not just the one.
Right.
So you
Yeah,
should hear
you
quite a few of
exactly.
them. Like I feel like on days when I upload that, I'm uploading 10. All right. Our second winner here, and arguably better, just based on pure dollar value, is the so something interesting about this part, and I'll actually pull it up on the changelog on Bricklink, is I know this part by a different name, and the name I know it by was I'll show the dates here on the change log, and I'll screenshot this and send it to you, Nikki. So something interesting about this part is I know it by a different name than it's on Bricklink now. So I know it as Dish 5x5 Scala or Scala, but for whatever reason it is now just Dish 5x5, and they removed it from the Scala category. So that's just something interesting. In any case, it's part 6942 in light bluish gray. It's the Dish 5x5, and it's sold. It's creeping up now. It's $13.93 sold average in the last 6 months. This is some would say it's not a winner and it's just a rare part. I would disagree because there was two in the 2010 Turbo Tank, and the 2010 Turbo Tank was arguably one of the best-selling Legos Star Wars: The Clone Wars sets ever. So, if you find one, you'll likely find two because there's two came together. And it came in another fairly popular set, the Epic Dragon Battle from 2012, set 9450.
Well, that is a pretty
Well,
cool winner. Those are the winners, and let us move on.
yeah. So like we said, we have Chris James on this week. It was super fun talking to him, and I'll just do less of that now, and I'll let it roll. So enjoy, and thanks for watching as always. Hello, folks who are watching. This is is this going to be number 3?
Yes, number 3.
This is the Part Out Podcast, the Pop number 3. I'm joined with my co-host Nikki and the great from the Great Brick Lab, the great Chris James. How you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing good.
Awesome. Do you want to? I'm sure most people watching will be familiar with your store and sort of you, but if you want to give a quick sort of introduction to yourself.
Sure. My name's Chris, and I run and operate the Great Brick Lab. Operate is more of a quote type of a word because I do have guys that work on site for me full time.
Yeah.
I work. I go in every day for a few hours, but most of the operations is run by my team that is there. Um, been running it for about 6 years. Yeah, this will be coming up on 6 years. That's been a real joy to be able to do that. And we just continue to have growth and success. And I guess there'll probably be a ton of questions as we go into it, but that's my introduction.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I guess yeah. The sort of baseline, obvious question is, so how did you or how or when did you start selling on Bricklink, and what sort of got you into that or pointed you to that sort of idea of selling pieces?
Sure. It started. There's a local thrift store that had some Lego that I bought. It was just a bag, unknown what was in it. Had no idea. And I've always kind of perceived Lego as this expensive toy that I don't want to put my money into. I'd rather put my money somewhere else. Um, and so, but this was a good deal. So I bought it and I brought it home and was just kind of playing with it. And it started to get the feel that this was an actual set. And I didn't know about Bricklink at the time. So I was kind of looking around for how do you discover what kind of set it is and, information. And I found some stuff on YouTube. And eventually I kind of rolled into Bricklink
Hmm.
and was able to order I was able to figure out what set it was. It took a lot of work for me in the beginning. Once I figured out what set it was, I was able to order some pieces and actually build the set, and it ended up being the Hulkbuster.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
no figs or anything like that, but it was all the pieces to build the Hulkbuster, and I built it, and I was like, that was a really neat experience, being able to buy the parts and I really had no clue. Bricklink was like in one of its previous versions, 7 years ago, and
Yeah,
it was. I mean, some people still find it hard to understand, but at
yeah.
that time, it was the old version, and then discovered that it was actually quite easy to start a store. They didn't have as many gates to get through as they do now. So I opened up a store, started selling on, had some old sets laying around, parted them out, and I did what you guys did. I parted them out into bags. And I had one guy buy all my black pins, and it took me like 4 hours of searching to find all these black pins. So I underestimated that somebody might just they're not going to buy from one bag. They're going to buy from a little bit
Yeah.
here, a little bit here. I had no idea that's how it would work, but so I failed at it initially. And so in your pop number one, I was listening to that and I was like, oh yeah, been there.
For sure.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's good to
So,
hear that you also have been there as
yeah.
it's good to hear.
I thought it would work, right? But no,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely humble beginnings, important to remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So a question sort of related to the beginning is what was the sort of catalyst or what have you for becoming so busy or busy enough that it became sort of worth your time to hire out work? And what were the first sort of jobs that you hired out?
sure. All right, so that's a really big question here. I'll try and take it in steps. I
Yeah.
ran it myself for a long time, and I was able to operate it. And I enjoyed operating. Regular growth. I mean, the wall of Acre Mills attached behind you there. That's exactly my situation. And then the wall continued to grow, and then I had to add a wall. Then I just kind of remodeled the whole thing so many different times. But it was in those days I was able to operate on my own, and that was really fun. But then, similar to what happened to you, David, is COVID came, and all of a sudden orders were overwhelming me, and I didn't want to be up until 11 o'clock picking orders after already working another job every single day. So that is what really gave us explosive growth. But even before that, I was already outsourcing the two steps of sorting the parts and then also cataloging the parts and building up a back warehouse of cataloged parts that are just waiting to go into drawers. That started after a failure of trying to do it all on my own. Too many hours spent and putting my marriage at risk. My relationship with my wife was I was spending more time in the store than I was with her, and that was so I actually shut it down for 3 months. I actually closed for 3 months, and we talked about it a lot, and we prayed about it a lot, and there was a conversation saying if we're going to do this, then it has to kind of have a different structure to it. And that's when I said I need to get extra help and have to figure out how to
Yeah.
do that.
That's a sort of a work-life balance lesson in action for sure.
Yep.
So the first people, so how did you sort of decide, or I guess think about the idea of outsourcing the sorting? Because I know a lot of people starting off, and not that it's something bad to do. I mean, Nicky still sorts all his own parts, but a lot of people starting off think that the sort of image of a big Bricklink store is someone who just spends all their time sorting and cataloging and doesn't really have a any time outside of that.
Mhm. So I try to remember the exact. I know the first two people that I had that were doing sorting for me. and I didn't even know what we were doing initially. I didn't know about 20 categories. I knew I was sorting, and I knew what categories I liked to sort to. So the initial categories that I created were based off of that. I did not originally have a spreadsheet. I went to people and I was like, okay, here's some Lego, here's some cups, sort it, and do whatever you like.
Yeah.
And based on that, through a few individuals, um, the first person I think that they came to me and they said that they wanted to help me out. They knew about my problem. They knew that I had all this product. They knew I didn't have time for it. And they said, I think I can help you. And I want to do it from home. And I was like, well, that's interesting. So they came over, they took some home with them, they brought it back. And I was like, actually, this is really nice. This is nice having all these different categories. I picked up a category and cataloged it on my own. That was probably about 2.5 years into opening up the store. And then somebody else came to me and said that they wanted to open up a store similar to mine. And they made the first spreadsheet that actually documented the
Interesting.
actual different categories.
So, a quick question I had about earlier. You were saying like when you decided to have other people start working for you, how big was your store?
Oh, good question. I'm going to say maybe 150K parts.
Okay. And by that point, had you already stopped consolidating?
No. Oh no. We haven't even been doing that for more than a year.
Yeah, I think that was late or early 2021 you started?
Uh,
Stopped, I should say.
yeah, it was 2021. We really hammered it in August when we moved to the warehouse. Uh,
Right.
we had an experiment. Okay, so when we were, I don't know if any of the vlogs really showed it in the basement. I don't even know if any of it's left on my channel. But I brought in a new shelving unit and I put 12 acro mills on it on both sides. And it was a shelf there was no room for the shelf down there. We were literally had to like move the shelf around depending on what side of it we were picking on. But it was an experiment to see if we could just fill those drawers any way we felt like and put whatever price we wanted and just to see what would happen.
Yeah.
Zero expectation that anything in that cabinet was going to sell. We were pricing things like 6-month maximums. We were just making stuff up. But
Yeah.
then people started putting orders in for these parts, and we're like, why are they? I don't understand. So we just kept adding and adding and adding, and we got some successes from it. And that was our first experiment with no consolidating. And we were able to pick them. We were able to find them in the order, and we learned as long as you can find the part at the point the customer orders it, it really doesn't matter anything. It's just you just got to be able to find the part.
I also I'm curious because David doesn't consolidate. I don't consolidate it anymore, and I guess really never did. Um, but what was the uploading process of parts when you were consolidated?
Oh yeah, that is a that comes down to the real stop gap for us. If we have so many lots in our store now. Even if I consolidated the lots, and actually, while we're talking here, I'm going to go ahead and upload Brickstore and give you guys my actual number here.
Yeah. Give it a few to to run the
Yeah,
consolidate.
guys, all for it to run. Um, if we were to stop what we're doing and begin to consolidate, we would spend more time consolidating parts than we would adding parts.
Right.
Because like if I pull out a drawer, I would say easily 40% of everything that I get from my catalogers is going to be already in the source somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we spend so much time down the pick path looking for that part, trying to put it away and add to those other parts. It would just take more time to do that.
yeah. So when you were like actually consolidating, like were you running the brick stock merge and then finding their marks, then adding it?
It was brick sync. We would do
Right.
brick sync. We would take our BSX file and do brick sync against it, and then I forget what it was. I think it was like a brick sync sort,
Right.
and it would add it would add the remarks fields, and then we would know where it was, and then we would uh, either add to that location for those parts or update that location if there was no longer room for that.
Yeah, that's such a headache. I think that's one of the main reasons I've enjoyed so much the just making a new lot for everything is just the moving of from one small drawer to a larger thing, and then a few months down the line it's going to go to a larger thing. Eventually you've got like a tote full of 1x2 yellow bricks.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then you have to move it when you do it. And if you make one error, then you've lost all those parts.
Yeah, yeah, the error rate technically is higher, but that is a good point. It's something I actually haven't thought about is if there's several lots of it, at least most of them will be correct instead of
We have had that experience where we'll go to a drawer and a customer's purchased a part. It's not in that drawer, but
Mhm.
we'll have it somewhere else in the store. We'll pull from a other lot to
Yeah,
just reduce the
yeah,
inventory for that lot, and we just done customer fulfillment, and the customer doesn't know. Um, it's kind of a little strategy of ours. We'll put regular prices on a few of them. Other ones will be in the store, 3 or 4 times the regular price. That one often doesn't get touched, but if we need to pull from that to fulfill a customer order, we absolutely will do that all the time. But it is available for purchase if somebody did want to pay that price.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah. No, go ahead. I didn't have anything to say.
Okay. Yeah, that's something I think too that I guess sort of some sellers that I've heard around the community that are still weary about or worried about not consolidating is the like price differences and stuff. I think it's something to embrace because it just highlights the sort of the free market of Bricklink and how sort of diverse it is in the business models you can have. Like I know I was looking at Clutch's store the other day from Bricks on the Dollar, and he's still pricing um, fairly conservatively, like 6 months average or current inventory average, and everything's consolidated. And I look at there's this new feature I found on Bricklink while I was on a call with Nikki, the upload calendar.
Hmm.
You can go to a calendar and plug in anybody's username and see how much they've uploaded on any given day.
Yeah.
And no knock on him or anybody again, but like what he gets for sale in a day versus what you or I or Nikki, it's just so much faster to put parts for sale. And I think that that's really the bottom line is because like I said in the first episode, the only thing that everything that sells has in common is that it was listed for sale.
So, David, how do you run your lot consolidation? Because I
Uh
think there was some other variables that need to be taken into factor,
yeah, so control A, obviously, you've
right?
imported the store, then control L is consolidate, then yes to all.
Yep.
And
I have
then
to hit yes to all, or can I just take the number that it gives me?
No, yes
uh
to all.
hit yes to all and then make sure there's no because every once in a while Brick Freedom does something where it makes stockroom lots, so then make sure you have no zero quantity lots also.
Uh, how about we just get close?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have 71,555 lots,
Right.
and it says there's 13. When I do the consolidate items, I get a number on here that says 13,952.
Mhm.
So that means there's 57, at least there could be less, but a consolidated lot number is 57,603.
Right. I bet there's a
No.
lot less because some like that number 13,000, like each one, like sometimes if like let's say you have like 10 lots of one item, that still only shows up as one lot being consolidated.
All right, so let me do yes to all and see. It's going to take a while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just let
it's
it
there's
run.
no rush. You can sort of let us know whenever it's done. But yeah, because what happens is like if you run that then you just subtract that number like if you have like 70 lots of black legs, that's only going to be one query, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and we do have 70 lots of black legs.
Yeah, I was looking at that in your store the other day because I was curious because with so many catalogers or so many sort of mini bags you're going through, that's got to be like every day you're adding black legs.
Every once in a while, we'll get a customer that will buy
Yeah.
15 lots and buy them all out.
Yep.
Um,
And
so
I
go ahead.
I think that's due to people say it screws with the wanted list. I think that's fully the wanted list that selects them all.
It is. It is. I've tested it. It completely does. So if you want to buy black legs and you just let your want list go, it will
Yeah.
fill up the want list to the number that you've requested.
Yeah, and I don't know if either of you have experienced this, but what my thinking is with wanted list orders, because you can sort of tell when it's a manual order, like a human versus a wanted list. I think when people buy several lots like that are duplicate lots, the system prefers the newest one that was put for sale if the price is the same,
Yeah, I don't know.
because I find that because like anything I upload within 14 days is going to be the same price because the Brickstore database is 14 days. So I don't know. I just find I'm pulling like lots that I know I have several of. I'm pulling the ones that are way farther down the pick path.
Yeah, see, I don't pick off then. I don't know where
Mhm.
the parts are getting picked from in the store because I'm not doing that on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's true.
So here's an interesting number. Consolidated, it was said it was 31,446.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
significantly less.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is still huge.
That is a lot of I mean, like consolidated, and then how? What's the total item count?
59, 50, 5690672.
Is there any
I have
errors in the file? Not that it matters, but
13 errors.
okay, so
It's
probably
like almost nothing.
yeah. Wow, because I just hit the other day 16,000 consolidated. What were you at? Were you at? Did you pass 17 when you stopped consolidating?
17 what?
17,000.
Oh, I'd have to go back and look at some of the vlogs, but yes. Yeah,
Okay,
we
'cause
were,
I
we
think you
were,
were right around there.
yeah, 17, somewhere between 17 and 18 when we stopped consolidating. And because we were really close to being number one in the US, or maybe number five or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, once we stopped consolidating, we blew it up, but that doesn't really. If you look at consolidated and we compared ourselves to consolidated stores, I wonder where we stand right now.
I'm looking at the U.S. You'd be number 2 in the U.S. consolidated,
Okay,
That's
I think
crazy.
as long as bulk brick bank consolidates.
I don't think they do. I don't think
so.
most of the people at the top of the list do.
Yeah, and the
No, they
lot
don't.
count does nothing for me,
Right.
really.
No, it doesn't.
No, it
But
doesn't.
like the lot count displayed on Bricklink means nothing, but the consolidated number and having more things for sale does, get orders.
I'm
Okay,
looking at bulk brick bank right now. They're not consolidated, so you're definitely number 1 in the U.S. That's for sure. I don't know
Yeah,
about in the world, but
100%. I would be hard pressed to find a store that consolidated has more than 31,000.
yeah. I'm actually curious right now as to how many in the world even have, like, you're consolidated compared to, like, the world puts you like number 12 in the world, but there's no way they consolidate.
I looked at some of the other ones there and spent a little time, and they have different ways of doing it too. I have a theory that that number one store is actually three different locations.
Interesting. You mean, well, right now you're number 1 by far in terms of
Okay, so
lots.
they do number two, but
Yeah.
I theorize that that's actually three different locations, and their remarks locations tell them like three different stores combined. They somehow have a collaboration going. I have the theory on that.
Interesting.
I don't have any evidence.
Is that the one based in Is that the Portugal store?
I thought it was Germany.
No, maybe they're closed right now
That is possible.
because there's no one even close to you on this list. I bet. No, yeah, you're right. Because there used to be one. Yeah, I think they're closed right now. I don't know what the store's called.
There was one store, this was over a year ago. They were just fake uploading. So they had like 90,000 lots.
Oh yeah, that one
And
was
they were
one that.
drop shipping, so they'd run the order into a wanted list and easy buy it,
Yeah.
and their processing time was like 3 weeks. They got banned, but
You're right. That store is closed. There's a German store that's in there, and they must be closed for the time being.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they're closed for a day and we just got unlucky.
I have some screenshots of their store. So I liked the word that you used in pop number one, the Renaissance.
yes.
I did
I
not know that this was being called a Renaissance until then.
yeah,
David
I'd
decided
mentioned
that
this.
on the spot.
Yeah, well, no, I'd actually mentioned that word a few months back in a live, just a brick in the bucket live stream. I was saying how sort of Ben from United Parts, his work on Figure It Out, and then the creation of the guy who had previously made Brickstock, him going in on Brickstore, the
Yes.
sort of thumbnail mode there, and then that combined all at the same time with the Brick Freedom multi-order picking, and then boom, right at the right time, you're like, hey, maybe it's not such a good idea to put all the yellow 1x2 bricks in the same drawer. Maybe we could just have them wherever and find
Well,
them later.
and I will give credit to Brickslayer. Brickslayer said something about that one time, and I'm like, wait, you don't consolidate in your used?
Yeah, yeah. I believe it was him who sort of did that because he was just like, oh, I hate this. I don't want to walk around the store, consolidating this file. It's just quicker that way. So he told you, correct? And then
I heard
you,
or maybe we were in a podcast together. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try that and see what happens.
yeah, if I pull up my DMs with Brickslayer there, because I remember I was so tentative, and I think I was messaging you too, Chris, that
Yeah,
week. I was so worried about doing it because I thought
yeah,
orders would drop off a cliff. I mean, it's completely the contrary because you're getting more things for sale.
yep.
But my main thing then, because I was in the storage unit at the time, I was like, well, I can work from home now. I can just catalog from home and then pick the orders
I
in there.
remember, yeah, you were so excited to be able to catalog from home. You didn't have to sit in storage unit to do it. It kind of give you some freedom, and that's exactly what this does.
Yeah,
Anybody can catalog from anywhere. You just hire a resource, teach them how to catalog, let them catalog. They get good at it. They just give you filled drawers. Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy useful to be able to have people offsite cataloging directly into the final location and then plug it into the store.
So, speaking of cataloging and teaching people how to catalog, how did you train your catalogers? Like at first, how did you start doing that?
uh, let me think about who the first one I cataloged was. Oh, all right. This was uh, they basically taught themselves. They kind of watched what I was doing, and then they picked up on it. That was the first person.
Yeah,
But now, from that point forward, we really kind of just say, here's how you find the part numbers. Here's a color palette. Here's how we want the files built. Here's how we want the boxes packaged. If you can do this, then you can and make the cut. Then we'll continue to hire you because they're independent contractors. They're
right.
considered independent contractors. And what I tell them is, I'm going to give you a little bit of training, maybe an hour's worth of making sure your computer's set up, making sure you understand our processes and what we need. The rest of it is on you.
Yeah,
Sometimes I make a YouTube video. You can watch that. There's other information you get from it. Make sure you make use of Brickstore and the color lock and all the different features in there and known colors, things that he's added to help identify the parts more quickly. But they really are. I consider them to be kind of on their own for learning how to do it well.
yeah.
So
Uh,
then, did you? I just had a quick question about that. On you said like here's the color palette because I was just talking to David about this because my roommate is colorblind for some colors, but also just doesn't know the Lego color palette.
Yeah.
Do you give them a color palette to look at, or is
Yeah,
it just
I make them build it. So what I do is we get like a 16 by 16 base plate and or a plate, and then just take a 1 by 2 bricks and find all the or 1 by 2 plates and then do every color that we can.
yeah? So
That is big.
it's not like completely every color, but it's enough of the common ones that
yeah,
We usually can fill it with about 80 different colors pretty quickly.
yeah.
And
yeah.
then they write down they put the brick on the plate and then just put on a piece of paper like a color decoder. That's it.
Yeah, I find too, having or showing the contractors how the known colors works usually sorts out any like, huge questions.
It does. It does. If you can find a part number on there and you type in known colors, there's very few known colors that doesn't show up for some parts. There's a few, but
Yeah, it's mainly like bionicle masks I find and things that were variable or sort of random prize things.
it
And
works really well.
yeah,
It's a great feature that, and you are absolutely correct. There was a pivotal moment where we got all these extra tools. We got brick freedom. We got all these things that just made it possible to load parts faster and sell quicker.
yeah. Uh, in that same vein, Nikki and others watching who are thinking about or toying with the idea of training people, Brickstore is so well designed that even if they choose the wrong color, as long as the quantity is correct, you can tell what they were aiming for. Just double click it and quickly manually switch the color
Yep.
in
Sometimes
the
you'll be paying somebody the incorrect amount depending on how they've
yeah,
invoiced you.
yeah.
Um,
Most parts I find that to be a wash. Like they come ahead like 12 cents or something.
yep.
So when you have somebody cataloging for you, what are they putting the part like, when they're cataloging and they're like do they create remarks for the items? Do they put them in a certain spot?
So if they're filling it into drawers for us, which is our more proficient
Yeah,
catalogers, they get a scan gun and our drawers, so they just scan the drawer barcode and that's the number of the drawer, and then they fill in the remarks field for us.
Right. So then it doesn't get double checked, but by that point they're already good. Like you've kind of vetted them and they're good enough to do that.
Those people still make mistakes. We're always trying to coach them. Um, but the other ones, is that where your question was? The other ones?
Yeah.
So the other ones are filling bags. So what they'll do is, I don't have one here, but say this is the bag here. Um, they will take bags and fill it with bags, and each individual bag, which, depending on how the size of that bag, say this is one VSX file, goes in this box. That box is the name of a folder. All of those files are in a folder. So when I say we search our back warehouse, those files are searchable on Windows, and we can search for the part number and go grab a part out of one of those files as needed to fill a customer order if we were short something.
Yeah.
And so that's
So
just your back catalog, and then that gets who uploads that stuff, or does it ever get uploaded?
It does get uploaded. We just kind of randomly do it sometimes. I got some people that do it from home. I do it myself sometimes. Just
Right.
whenever we feel like it.
Yeah.
But that back warehouse, because I've got like 7 people cataloging for me, and only 3 of them are doing it directly to drawers. The rest of them are putting it in those boxes. So
Okay.
those boxes grow and grow. And I've been building those boxes for 5 years.
yeah. So is that backlog growing or shrinking?
I think growing. I think growing would be because I don't have enough people uploading parts. My drawer, I
Binning?
have a lot of empty drawers.
Yeah. I so the people who are doing into boxes, not directly into drawers, are you having them do one lot per bag?
The bags are like 50, 60 different lots, and then inside that bag there'll be other smaller bags. As long as we can pour the bag out and find all the parts
Sure.
that are in there, some layers of
Yeah.
separation. Yeah.
What I did, I have an example here.
It looks
For
like my
people,
old what my store used to be in.
yeah, right.
Or like, it kind
Yes.
of reminds me of that.
If it's like all plates and you separate, bulk counts by a lot, if there's like 1 or 2 colors or something, just mix them together.
Yeah.
The goal
And
is
then
to be able to pour the bag out and then quickly separate and see what's there.
yeah, and then in that same note, what are you giving the contractors to catalog? Are they getting one like built up category, or are they getting like 20 pounds of random half sorted stuff?
They get the sorted categories by so you go through a sort and then it goes to cataloger.
Right. So they're getting, I guess my question is, are they, so if somebody sorts, like first sort for you, 40 pounds, then they bring it back, do you combine all of the things that come back like that somewhere? Like, do you have a bin of category 1 that then goes out?
Yep,
Okay.
exactly
Okay.
right. Yeah, we have. I really don't know how many bins we have of each category. Maybe 5, 6 of each
Yeah.
category.
Because
More.
I got way backed up. I just got somebody finally took the job of 70 pounds of Technic.
Wow.
So that's gonna be a huge upload. But what I do for I use these shoe bins for people who are cataloging not into drawers, and then the front of the shoe bin is index 1 in the
Yeah.
Brickstore file, and it just goes all the way back. So I pull it in order and then bin it, and then just quickly key in the drawer location there.
And
Yeah.
is that is that one lot per bag, or are
I
those
tell
also
them
mixed?
do 1 lot per bag if the quantity is over 15,
Okay.
and then anything else sort of mix in up to like 5 colors, and I'll just
Yep.
pour it onto a tray and figure it out.
It's very methodical, and the shoebox is a little bit more efficient. I've kind of give people more of a free reign, saying just fill bags.
Yeah, just make sure I can find them.
Yeah. Yeah. What I tell them is that you're going to take work to separate and count these parts. Don't start throwing them back together in a bag. Don't make me resort what you just sorted. Preserve your sorting work to some
Yeah,
degree. I mean, don't bag every single individual little part by itself, but to some degree, preserve your sorting work and not make us redo the work. That's the goal is.
yeah,
Earlier you said that you don't pick orders very often, and so you have other people picking for you. Of course I do. I watch, both of us I think watch all the videos that you upload, so this is great. But um yeah, so how do you train people to pick parts? Because I know that there are some, like if you had everything consolidated, it'd be really easy for people to pick parts. is there any like what is the sort of process on training pickers?
Takes about 5 minutes. It literally takes 5 minutes. We put them in front of an iPad, tell them, find this drawer, look for this picture of that part, this count, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Vic Free, all that
when
easy.
when you set them up, are you having them doing a multi-order pick, or are you giving them an individual order?
No, we only do multi-order picks. There's never really room. Every once
Yeah,
in a while, we'll do a single order pick, but almost everything is multi-order pick.
interesting. So I guess that isn't as big of a worry because then you have also somebody who is sort of sitting by the shipping station verifying each order.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's something that I don't do because I'm still the only one picking. So I'm doing like 400 lots a day.
Yeah.
But I noticed so when I I originally or for a very long time I picked orders one by one directly from the Bricklink website, and
I used to do that.
I was making, probably a normal-ish amount of mistakes. And my worry always with multi-order picking was that the mistakes would go up. But what happened was because of the space bar, because like I stopped pressing the check boxes just like Derek in Pop's Block Shop because I just wanted to pick it as fast as I could. And on Bricklink, it's so annoying to click the check boxes. But the space bar on Brick Freedom made it so my mistakes actually went down,
Yeah.
even doing 13 whatever orders at a time.
I'm just going to jump into something in regards to the Renaissance.
Yes.
Um,
I think that's what we'll call episode 3. The Renaissance, POP number 3.
so, in regards to not consolidating lots, there's a potential problem coming, and that is the API in Bricklink and Brickout has limits,
Mm.
and the more lots you have, the more communication you have between the systems, the higher API usage you're going to experience. And I've been warned by Brick Freedom that I have a potential. If I keep going the way I'm going to go, it's going to hit the limit. Okay, so he's working on something. I don't know what he's working on. I'm hoping for, and this isn't like I don't know if there's inside information or not. I hope it's not, but um, he's working on something for us because of the Renaissance. Okay, but I am not going to stop. If I hit my limit, we're just gonna experience the limit.
Yeah, and or turn off Brick Owl.
I thought about that. But they might just stop letting me upload parts, and I might not have a good inventory with them. Is the most dangerous thing that I guess it could happen. But here's where I'm going with this long term. So right now we're probably about 60 to 70% full of my store's capacity. Once we get to 100% of our capacity, and I have enough people feeding the inventory from home or from wherever they're bidding at. So they're bringing in filled drawers and we're emptying drawers and we're giving them empty drawers. But my store experiences a cycle of filled drawers to the maximum capacity. That will allow us to increase our inventory turn, and then I will start bringing prices down significantly. I will have to staff up. The store will probably have to at least, I think, 4 to 6 people picking up to 2 shifts per day. So these people are going to be running all the time picking. I'm figuring about 1,000 lots a day are going to be picked. But the feeding of that cycle of those drawers being full and the rotation of that, not worrying about consolidating and consistently filling drawers is the goal of inventory turn. And I believe that's the mechanism that I want to run on the Renaissance.
Yeah. So I'd heard you talk about this. I forget. It might have been on your channel or on Evans or whatever, or I guess just a break in the bucket. But I wanted to ask. So your plan is twice a year turn.
200%.
So
Yeah.
so does that look like every, let's say, June and January, you just like throw on 70% off prices?
Something like that. Yeah. What I'm hoping there's also the next version of Brick Store that's coming out will have a column to tell you your oldest loaded parts. So it'll
Mm-hmm.
tell you the date things were uploaded. And what I will do is I will probably take a portion of those parts and then just fire sale 'em.
Fire sale, sure.
Yeah, and then get those parts out the door, get as many drawers empty as we possibly can. And just because I sell out a lot doesn't mean a drawer is going to go empty, but it's time to kind of reduce the weight of the
Send it
store.
out, yeah,
Yeah, let
and
it thin out, and then go make empty drawers or start filling drawers in different ways.
get more for sale.
Yeah, I thought about taking an entire column of drawers and
Yeah.
then just marking the whole thing 50%, and then we can give that column to somebody else out
Yeah,
to upload. The only thing I probably won't discount is some of the more valuable parts and minifigs. Um, but regular parts, yeah, we're gonna fire sale them. So
yeah. My sort of worry with this, or I guess one reason I'd be sort of cautious to do it myself is if, and not that it's a bad thing that buyers would know about it, but I would fear that buyers would like sort of catch wind of this or whatever, and then just wait until then to place orders.
yeah,
And
it'd be fine with me.
yeah, so I guess yeah, as long if you're just targeting wanted lists,
Well, see,
then
the customer runs a risk of doing that too, because if they wait for, like I said, they have a want list and they have 50 items in the want list and we have them all, then they wait for the fire sale, then they might only get
then
30 of
they'll,
because some of the
yeah,
other ones sold. So they run the risk as well. So that's the decision. That's free
yeah,
market, right?
yeah, exactly. Something I was curious about is do you have a consistent pricing strategy right now for just sort of run of the
Oh,
mill parts?
no, I make it up all the time.
Yeah.
And customers have contacted me and say, "What is going on? This makes no sense." And I'm
Yeah,
like, "I agree. I agree. We don't really have a plan for this."
yeah.
No.
Because I've said before, like, um, or I've looked at your store before, and you have like 3,000 minifigure lots. My thinking with like stuff like that is like if you drop that just to like current inventory numbers, because some of them are like three times or whatever. If you drop that, those orders that come in are so easy to pick and high value. I just feel like your turnover overall would go skyrocket on like
Yep.
some of the Star Wars stuff, and I could just see the orders now, like 10 lots, $100 orders.
We do experience that every once in a while, and you're right. At those prices, as minifigs hardly ever sell.
Yeah,
Um, but like I said, I have room to fill in my drawers, and until those drawers are full, then
yeah.
and those drawers will be full this year. We will finish it this year.
That's the plan or the expectation.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a daunting task for sure. Cause I'm not even. I'm probably just about 60% filled in the room that I have the Bricklink in now, and I'm at 250,000. So we'll see what happens.
Well, and I'm not having any supply issues either. So
Yeah, yeah. I heard. How much bulk did you buy in 2021, or was it
13,000 pounds.
13? Was it like once a month
Mhm.
regularly? You're buying 1,000, or
Yeah, pretty regular.
that is
A little bit more than that.
insane.
Do you just have your like your one source or few sources, or do you ever have it like coming from other sources, or do you ever have anyone like contact you and want to sell you stuff?
I'd say 95% from my primary source.
Yeah.
That is a great
Do you
source.
you don't do you even look for other sources or no? I mean, there's no
No,
need to.
at that rate, there's yeah. I think it'd be best advice would to be not look
Yeah.
to process what you have.
Yes, people send me deals. I get friends who say, "Hey, there's a Facebook listing here," and I'll look at it and be like, "Is this a
Great.
friend of yours? I mean, should I, go buy it because it's a social thing?"
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I like and no hate to like anyone who's done this to me, but like people know I sort of have a Lego store. They send me like Facebook Marketplace listings that I've seen like 8 times. There's just like a horrible price. They're like, "Did you see this?" I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
I have. And I think they mean well, but
Yeah.
Yes, they're just trying to help you out, and
yeah,
that's right.
but people I guess maybe underestimate how much Lego we all see in the Bricklink community.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Chris's supply is like the ultimate monkey typewriters.
Yeah, the monkey typewriter theory.
I don't know what that means.
There's a thought experiment that goes if there were infinite monkeys in a room with infinite typewriters, randomly pressing buttons, then they would write every story written by humans eventually because a random number keeps compiling.
It's
So,
not infinity.
So yeah, the idea is that you have, you know, you'll come
it,
across every single
in an
set.
infinite sample, yeah,
Oh,
eventually you'll find every Lego mold ever made.
we're waiting for a Mr. Gold to show up. That's what we talked about in
Yeah,
the store.
I found a fake Mr. Gold, and
Yeah,
I
we,
was,
we got a keychain, Mr. Gold.
yeah,
Is that what you're talking
no, it was some kid had just spray painted this
about? Oh
normal
no.
guy with a top hat, chrome gold.
We have found a lot of really wonderful artists, especially with the minifigs. Some kids are really not satisfied with Lego's design and they redo them.
Oh yeah, especially the clones, the Sharpie clones,
Yeah,
all the time.
Sharpie markers and clones all the time.
A lot of like red marker too for like blood, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, on the
and
swords.
the blood in Star Wars.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that we kind of wanted to ask about was the like the switching the location of your store.
Oh yeah.
Um, and kind of like what what was sort of like the I guess I mean yeah just like what happened there like when did like I guess yeah how did you know it was time to switch.
Mm. Okay. Well, the building became available.
Yeah,
We had our eye on a building for 3 years. We just knew it would be a good location and a combination of things. Number one, that was the building that became available. So we bought the building. Well, actually, I lease it, but um, so that was one part of it. But then the other part of it was really taking over my home. The room that you see behind me here used to be back where one of the two back warehouses I had on site here at my home. The basement was completely all, people coming and going, employees coming and going every single day, became, a potential stress point. We were managing it well, and I actually enjoyed the social interaction, and making lunch for everybody on a regular basis. I mean, hospitality is one of my gifts, so that was nice. But yeah, at the point when the supply is coming in and we're running out of space to store it, I had an offsite storage location for all my supply, that wasn't, cataloged in some shape or form. The building became available. Sales were doubling every year. So it was kind of like, okay, so we hit a capacity that we just couldn't even grow anymore as far as drawers. And I had a ton of drawers purchased just ready to be put on the walls that I didn't have any walls to put on. A combination of those things, on top of the fact, I mean, I had like 16,000 bubble mailers that I bought that I stored off site because it's coming. It's like, and on top of all those things, zero debt. All right.
right.
We have a zero debt organization. We do not go into debt to do any of the work that we do. So with all those things, it's kind of like there's nothing holding me back from being able to do this.
Yeah, that's a huge thing I think, especially with sort of Bricklink or any reselling or at originally at home ventures to not sort of sink money into it and bootstrap and just snowball it as far as you can. Something going off of that is I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about because like obviously it's good that you have all this space now, but it does you do sort of sacrifice the convenience of just going downstairs and being at work. Um, so if you could just sort of touch on some of the pros and cons of just keeping it small and sort of staying at home versus making the jump and going for it and hiring on more people to manage it.
When I was running it by myself, any mistakes that were made was made by me. So I,
Hmm.
I was accountable for it. And I know, I'm going to talk to a customer and I'm going to make it up to them. It's a little frustrating when, I have and people making mistakes, and then I have to still talk to a customer and then kind of dive into the details. That's definitely one sacrifice that I made. But what we've learned is good, solid customer service and just being honest with the customers and taking care of them really, really, really well will bring them back for more. So that one thing is making sure you're on top of customer service. I really like working at my store. I really do like working
Yeah,
there, and I don't get to do it nearly as much because it's not here. those days where I go in and I plan to pick, like you grab an order or grab a couple of orders and pick them, I enjoy it so much. And I don't get to do that nearly as much as I would like to. Another sacrifice that I've made is television. I barely watch any television.
Yeah.
I'm at my store from 4 o'clock until 6:30 every day, and then I come home and work my other job for the rest of the day. And that's it. That's all I have time for because I don't fill it with TV. I fill it with family time.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to fill it up with. I think if you're gonna lose something, I'd lose the television first.
So
That's
yeah. And control. I wouldn't necessarily say that I sacrificed my control over it, but I have to learn to release it. I have to release the amount of control that I'm used to having over what goes on. If I put something somewhere in my store and I expect to come back to the next day, if it's not on my desk, if it's just somewhere in the store, it may not be there. With so many people, maintenance manager, an inventory manager, 3, 4 employees, contractors coming through, things just are not always where I expect them to be when I get there. And that is the way of nature of a business runs, but it's a lot different than when it was my basement when I
yeah,
know what everything is going to be because it's my home.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, a question I have is do you ever plan on going full time into this?
That is the plan. Yeah, 8 years of a career job at an IT company, um, and after that, yes, full time.
So in you're saying in 8 years,
I have 8 more years.
8
Yes,
more years.
Gotcha.
Okay, okay. I yeah. Wow.
in 8 years, I will have a pension from a Fortune 500
I
company,
see.
um, and this. And actually, I won't get that for another 10 years after I leave that company. I'll be 55 years old. I will leave that company. 10 years later, I'll actually get my pension. So the Lego company is going to fill the gap of the income that I need before I get that pension.
Right.
Yeah.
So 16, you could say 16 inventory turns from now.
But if we can, I'm definitely going to need a new manager or another level of management, somebody who basically is general managing the entire operation, and then
Yeah,
be able to bring in additional people in order to that inventory term will not get accomplished without more labor.
yeah. So are you this is sort of a tangent, but are you paying the order pickers as employees or contractors?
Contractors
Okay. Is that based off like orders or lots picked or
um, is no, they get paid by the hour,
okay,
but they come in whenever they want.
I see. So they come in, do they know beforehand what a like a pick sheet or do they just sort of make it like the first in first out thing and
Depends on when they get there. They yeah, it's a first in first out. But when they come in, I'll be like, okay, you're here, so I'll make a pick sheet for you, whatever orders are available.
gotcha. So are you having the people picking making the pick sheets or is that somebody else like
Some of them do. Some of them can make their own pick sheets. Some of them have gained enough experience to be able to do that. Yeah.
for sure?
How many orders do you put on a pick sheet?
25 is what I like, but I've seen people do 34, which is dangerous.
Yeah. So do you have your orders alphabetized?
Yeah, we do
So what
alphabet.
what happens after 26?
Double A.
Oh wow. That's crazy. I wonder what the colors look like too. Because the one
I don't
thing that's
know,
really helpful
we
for
don't pay attention to the colors. We really pay attention to the letter.
yeah, yeah, because for me, at least with 12, all the colors are sort of different enough. So what I've normally been doing is 12 order pick sheets and then 2 pick sheets a day. But I want to expand the cart's capacity to up to 24.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good video about our picking cart, but like A, B, and C will be like in the size of a shoebox that you were showing just a moment ago.
Yeah.
And we'll have cups, square cups in there to separate some of the lots. And then let's see, then the rest of the letters go inside of basically a miniature Acro Mills unit.
Yeah, that's how mine is A through D or sorry, A through F are the 13-inch wide Sterilite drawers,
Yeah.
and then the rest are large Acromills drawer size, with one tiny yellow cup for new parts, and then the rest is used.
Yeah, we also started doing what we're calling parallel picking and micro picking.
So what are
Interesting.
those?
Yeah.
Okay,
Explain.
so what we'll do is we'll prepare a pick sheet, and if it has 26 orders on it, and or 25 or whatever it is, 26 is like the max. Um, if it's Monday morning, it sometimes can have up to 700 lots to pick. So we'll have somebody start at the front of the path, and then somebody else will grab a separate cart and start in the middle of the path,
So like
and
at
then they'll meet at
350.
the end, and then they'll combine the two during verification. So that's parallel picking.
Gotcha.
We
And
have
then
found
what is the micro picking?
So micro picking is taking all of the orders that have 10 or less lots, and then somebody can walk the store in about 30 minutes and have the whole thing done.
I like that.
Interesting. That is, yeah, that's something I've thought about doing is like all the big ones in one pick
Yep.
or a few big ones and then like 20 really small ones.
Yeah. So that what that really does is it you know the person who's going to be doing the main pick and parallel picking with somebody else. They're not going to be having one drawer that has like a single part in it.
Yeah.
Uh, you save that for a smaller cart. It's got a smaller cart, smaller device. It's much more agile. He can zip through the store while everybody else is picking, kind of moving around them, and then have that done. Those customers' orders are going out immediately. And what we say is, if you put too many orders on a pick sheet, then you put at risk any customer from that pick sheet to not go out that day. So we try and only pick what we can get picked that and picked and packed
Yeah.
that same day to get it out the door.
That is true. Something with multi-order picking for anyone considering doing it is make sure when the pick sheet's generated, you're giving yourself time to pick everything at once because you can obviously bookmark it and leave the parts there, but then like you said, then you got to wait till the next day and
Build every
just
pick sheet now. We manually build it and then bookmark it and then save it
yep.
to bookmarks, and then all of our devices can see that pick sheet.
Yeah, I've done that a few times for
S-
when I had to stop or something similar.
Hey, I got 5 more minutes, but I'd be okay doing a two-parter too.
Yeah,
Sounds
for
good.
sure.
Yeah. I mean,
We
we'd
can
love to have you back on too in the future, you know, like maybe this can be one episode and then you can at some point whenever you want to come back on.
Yeah, get some questions from people and see what they have.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be great
Anyone
to just
watching
have.
right now,
Yeah.
comment a question for Chris from the Great Brick Lab. I think
I would
we
love to have questions. Actually, I have actually been willing to put myself out there. I've had people contact me from their stores and just like quiz me on certain things. One of our initiatives is to make all of the Bricklink stores great. All
yeah
Bricklink all stores. I want everybody to be great at what they're doing because it doesn't just help them; it helps all of us to have great stores that take care of customers well, get the orders out quickly. If we're all doing that, then the customer's experience is better from everyone on us.
for sure. They
Yeah.
say that's how Starbucks built the biggest coffee empire ever is because their marketing was to make the coffee market as big as possible and not to make Starbucks as big as possible. And I think that's a big part of it is like we're all quote competitors, but mainly the goal is the same, which is make Bricklink a great website where people can complete their Lego sets and wanted lists.
I guess what I wanted to ask before you go is any like do you have any advice for people either starting on Bricklink or just any other Bricklink sellers?
Okay, advice. Wow. Well, thank you for that great question. The advice I would give to somebody is to take it slow. I know a lot of people say, don't ever open a Bricklink store unless you really, really want to, but don't ever expect to make money at it. In truth, if you really like Lego and you want to do this, then I would be cautious because it's going to be hard to let your best stuff go.
Yeah,
That's that divide of like hobby to business. But take it slow. It's a great way to support a hobby. It's a great way to run a business. There's so many great people who are involved with Lego. That's one of the things that keeps me going is the Lego community. So I would encourage anybody to open up a store, but take it slow. Learn from your mistakes. Take care of your customer have great customer service. Um, Repeat business is one of our biggest drivers. I have customers that have been back over 70 times for
wow,
orders.
that is
So
great.
when I see something like that, we send them loyalty type stuff. We send them free, whatever. What are you looking for? Just let us know. Let me give you a free order. I'll just give you a free order. So take your time and build it up.
And
Oh,
then
that's
one
great
last
advice.
question I had before I saw in your one vlog you went to the farmers market. I'm just curious what
Oh,
the best thing you've gotten from there, and how did it taste?
oh, yeah. Thank you for asking that question. Yeah, you're taking me back to the farmer's market. It's so cold right now, and we won't be able to get
Yeah,
to the farmer's market for months.
yeah, that's what I was just thinking as well.
The crepes, I would say there's but he wasn't there this last year. We were so sad.
No.
The year I made that vlog, he was there making the crepes, and we just love those crepes. He has savory and he has sweet.
Yeah.
Uh, and we usually get one of each, and they just did wonderful crepes. So we miss the crepes.
All right. Well, hopefully, this spring and summer we'll get the crepes back and maybe a video of it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Thank you so much, Nikki, for co-hosting with me. Thank you, Chris, for your time. I know you're
Yeah,
very busy. I'm glad we were able to set aside a time to get this done. I think Nikki and I have learned a lot, and I'm sure the viewers at home will as well.
I'll look forward to the next one.
Yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
me too.
We'll see you then. Thanks a lot for being on.
You bet. Thank you.